story I'm about to share with you, I have never shared with anyone else. Many years ago, when I was but a lad, a little scout, enjoying my life, playing with my friends, one day my little buddy from school, Alan, came up to me and said, "Jason, why don't you come home from school with me today, and I'll show you my huge collection of animal droppings." Who wants to look at animal droppings after school? But our scoutmaster, Mrs. Hawley, she told us the scout is friendly and kind. And so I said, "All right, Alan, I'll go with you." And so off we went to Alan's house. And now mind you, Alan, when he wanted to grow up, he wanted to be a veterinarian. So everybody in the troop called him Alan Doolittle. So they swore he could talk to animals. Every time we'd go camping, he'd be off chasing critters, trying to talk with them, and the animals would just stare at him, but he thought he was communicating. So anyway, we were at Alan's house, and after hours of looking at various specimens of animal scat and other things, it was time to go home. I'd had enough. So I said, "Okay, I got to go home. I got to go home." And Alan's mother, she is so kind, came and said, "Oh, boys, how would you like to have a very nutritious meal of macaroni and cheese with hot dogs?" Oh, I said, that'd be great. I'm sure it's fine. So we sat down and we ate all this macaroni and cheese and hot dogs, and it was awesome. Well, it was starting to really get late, and I had to go home. So I said goodbye, and off we went. Well, I had a little ways to go, to travel, to get back to my house. As I was heading down the road, there was a shortcut that I knew about, and it went through Skunk Hollow, and that's a place we weren't supposed to go. But I was in a hurry, and I knew my mother would be mad if I was too late. So I decided it's okay. I go camping all the time. I know what to do. I'll just go through, use the shortcut. It'll be great. So off I went. Little did I know how that decision would change my life. As I got deeper and deeper into the woods and darkness enveloped me, I began to get nervous. I started to hear sounds. And I looked around, and out of the darkness, I saw beady eyes and glowing, evil red. And I got scared. And the eyes started to come towards me. And out of the shadows of the trees came a huge army of skunks. And right in the middle, leading these skunks, was a great, large, silver, ugly, with the claw marks down his face, skunk came. And as they came, I could hear them chanting, "Jason, we want you. We want you." And their little fangs, I could hear. And I was so scared. "What do you want me? What do you want me for?" And the Skunk King looked at me and said, "We are planning to take over the world, and we think you'd be a great little stinker." And instantly, I remembered back to the previous summer at summer camp, when my little friend Alan came up to me and said, "Jason, would you be so kind as to share one of your milk duds with me?" And I put an elk dropping in his mouth instead. I felt so bad. But I said, I've changed. I've spent hours looking at animal droppings with him. I've been good. "We don't care. Jason, we want you." They were chanting. I was going insane. And so I turned and I ran. I was running. Leaves ripping my face. I was starting to bleed and it hurt really bad. And they were coming. They were relentlessly coming. Finally, I turned and I faced them and I took out my Boy Scout pocket knife with a 3-inch blade, and I extended the blade, and I did battle. But they were too fast and ferocious, and they knocked it out of my hand. dang it! So I ran, and I ran, and I ran, and I ran, and they were coming. Yes, we want you. And finally, I was out of breath. I had no more strength. I couldn't run any farther, and I had to take a stand. And I had my walking stick with me, because every scout has a walking stick. And I turned around, and I faced the horde of evil skunks. And I slammed it down and said, "You shall not pass gas!" And they came. And they began to do battle with me. But I had no bow staff skills, and it wasn't very long before my stick was shattered into pieces. And there I was. Coming. I saw the others there. I told the Skunk King, "I want nothing of your evil, misguided plan to take over the world! We want you, James." And I reached back into the recesses of my brain, thinking what I could possibly do, and I remembered with clarity at that moment the words of my little friend Alan. He said, "Jason, if you ever find yourself in trouble in the woods, call on your friends the birds. They'll help you. They'll do anything for you. Just utter the secret word and all will be well." Thank you, Alan. And so, summoning the last of my energy, I looked to the sky and cupped my hands. Caw-caw! Caw-caw! Nothing happened. And the skunks, they turned around. The Skunk King ordered them to about face, and they were in the process of lifting their evil tails and about to spray me, when I heard this whooshing sound coming out of the trees. And I was so happy, because out of the darkness came these swooping huge wings, and the birds came and they sunk their talons into the hides of the skunks, lifted them off the ground and carrying them away. And as I watched them fly off, I saw that they were heading to the little fishing pond in Skunk Hollow. And it was over that pond that the birds released all these skunks. And into the water they fell. And as they were falling, I could still hear, "Jason, we want you." They were relentless. Now, lest you think the story ends with the skunks drowning in the pond, these skunks could swim. And they were starting to swim across the water, and they were starting to head back towards me. Fortunately, they had made many enemies among the forest creatures and in the waters, the fishes. Now, fish, as you might know, Alan taught me this too, fish swim in schools and they work together in a team. And those fish came up from the depths of the pond in squads of 5. Each fish grabbing onto a leg of a skunk and beginning to pull the skunk down. But the skunks knew that they had a secret weapon that would even destroy the fish. And so as they were coming and being pulled down, they were cooking up a great expulsion of gas, getting ready to plaster these fish and kill them. But the fifth and final fish, just as they started to go in the water, went up and grabbed the tail of the skunk and pulled it down and sealed off the... You know what I was going to say. And so what was the effect? As the skunks went down, it was too late to stop. They were in the process, and they blew up. They self-combusted under the water. Dead, every last one of those evil, stinking skunks. It didn't end there. To this day, if you were to go to Skunk Hollow and were to go by the waters, you would see the bleaching bones of dead scouts who failed to follow the sign, "Beware. Beware!"